Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a topic that many of us grapple with, the art of living alone. In a world that constantly bombards us with messages about needing validation, companionship, and endless distractions, the idea of being alone is often misunderstood. But in Buddhism, solitude is not a sign of loneliness. It's a gateway to self-discovery, inner peace, and true happiness. So grab a cup of tea, settle in, and let's explore how to embrace the power of solitude. In a world that constantly pushes us to seek validation, companionship, and endless distractions, the idea of being alone is often misunderstood. But in Buddhism, solitude is not a sign of loneliness. It is a gateway to self-discovery, inner peace, and true happiness. Learning to live alone is not about isolation. It is about embracing yourself fully, finding contentment from within, and breaking free from the need for external approval. As the Buddha said, no one saves us but ourselves. No one can, and no one may. We ourselves must walk the path. True strength is not found in the presence of others, but in the ability to stand firmly on your own. When you stop resisting solitude and begin to embrace it, you unlock a profound sense of freedom, one that allows you to redefine solitude as a strength, not a weakness. Many people see being alone as something to fear, as if solitude is a sign of loneliness, failure, or lack of connection with others. Society often teaches us that happiness comes from being surrounded by people, engaging in social activities, and constantly interacting with the world. Because of this, many feel uncomfortable when they find themselves alone, assuming that solitude is a problem that needs to be fixed. However, in Buddhism, solitude is not a weakness. It is a strength. It is not something to escape from, but something to embrace. Solitude offers a sacred space where you can step away from external distractions and truly connect with yourself. When you are alone, you are free from the noise of the world, the pressures of social expectations, and the constant demands of others. This quiet space allows you to listen to your own thoughts, reflect on your emotions, and understand yourself on a deeper level. Instead of looking outward for answers, solitude invites you to look within, where the true source of wisdom and peace resides. When you stop seeing aloneness as a burden and instead recognize it as an opportunity, you unlock a new way of living. You begin to appreciate solitude as a powerful tool for self-discovery and inner healing. It is in these quiet moments that you can understand what truly matters to you, what brings you joy, and what weighs you down. The more time you spend in solitude, the more you cultivate independence, emotional strength, and a sense of inner wholeness that no one else can provide. Solitude is not emptiness, it is the foundation of inner peace. When you learn to enjoy your own company, you no longer feel the need to constantly seek approval or distractions from the outside world. Instead, you develop a sense of calm, self-sufficiency, and contentment that allows you to move through life with greater confidence and ease. 2. Master the art of self-companionship. The most important relationship you will ever have is the one with yourself. Yet many people struggle with being alone because they have never learned how to enjoy their own company. In a world that constantly pushes us to seek companionship, validation, and connection from others, we often forget that true happiness does not come from external relationships. It comes from within. Buddhism teaches that self-companionship is not just about being alone, but about forming a deep, meaningful, and loving relationship with yourself. To master the art of self-care, instead of criticizing yourself for your flaws or mistakes, embrace them as part of your growth. Understand that you are always evolving, and just as you would support a loved one, you must learn to support yourself. Engage in activities that bring you joy, even if you are doing them alone. Go for a walk in nature. Read a book that inspires you. Listen to music that soothes your soul, or try a new hobby that excites you. When you actively choose to spend time with yourself, you begin to realize that solitude can be fulfilling rather than empty. Another key to self-companionship is developing inner dialogue. Pay attention to how you speak to yourself in your thoughts. Are you kind and understanding, or are you harsh and judgmental? Practicing self-awareness and mindfulness can help you shift your inner voice from one of criticism to one of encouragement. When you learn to be at peace with your own mind, solitude no longer feels lonely. It becomes a space of comfort and self-growth. The more you enjoy your own company, the less you depend on others to fill an emotional void. You become emotionally independent, self-sufficient, and deeply content with who you are. Instead of fearing solitude, you embrace it as an opportunity to nurture yourself, explore your inner world, and build a sense of peace that no one else can give you. 3. Develop a purpose-driven routine. Without purpose, solitude can feel like an empty void, leading to feelings of boredom, restlessness, or even sadness. Many people associate being alone with having nothing to do, which can make solitude seem unbearable. But Buddhism teaches that a meaningful and intentional routine can transform time spent alone into a powerful journey of growth and fulfillment. Instead of allowing loneliness to consume you, fill your days with activities that bring purpose, structure, and inner peace. A purpose-driven routine begins with understanding what truly matters to you. Ask yourself, what are the things that inspire me? What activities make me feel alive? What practices help me grow mentally, emotionally, and spiritually? By reflecting on these questions, you can start building a daily routine that aligns with your values and aspirations. One of the most powerful ways to create a meaningful routine is through mindfulness practices such as meditation and deep breathing exercises. Starting your day with a few minutes of stillness can set a peaceful tone, helping you develop clarity and focus. Meditation allows you to observe your thoughts without judgment, training your mind to remain calm and present throughout the day. Beyond meditation, fill your day with activities that nourish your body and mind. Engage in exercise to strengthen your physical health. Read books that expand your knowledge. Write in a journal to process your emotions, or explore creative pursuits like painting, music, or poetry. The key is to do things that bring fulfillment rather than just pass the time. Another important aspect of a purpose-driven routine is setting small goals. Whether it's learning a new skill, improving your diet, or dedicating time to a personal project, having goals keeps you motivated and focused. When you wake up each day with a sense of direction, solitude no longer feels isolating. It becomes a time for self-improvement and self-discovery. When your life is filled with meaningful activities, being alone no longer feels like a burden. Instead of seeking distractions or external validation, you embrace solitude as an opportunity to grow, heal, and create a life that is fulfilling on its own. 4. Find joy in your own hobbies and interests. One of the most fulfilling ways to embrace solitude is by discovering and immersing yourself in hobbies and activities that bring you joy. Many people associate happiness with social interactions, but Buddhism teaches that true contentment comes from within. When you engage in activities that excite and fulfill you, solitude no longer feels lonely. It becomes a time of creativity, relaxation, and self-expression. Start by exploring your interests without worrying about what others think. What are the things that have always intrigued you? Maybe you've always wanted to learn how to paint, play a musical instrument, write poetry, or practice yoga. Perhaps you enjoy gardening, cooking, or hiking in nature. These are not just pastimes. They are opportunities to connect with yourself and cultivate happiness from within. The beauty of having personal hobbies is that they allow you to enter a state of flow, a mental state where you become fully absorbed in what you're doing. When you are deeply engaged in an activity you love, time seems to disappear, and your mind becomes calm and focused. This sense of immersion brings a natural form of meditation, helping you feel present and at peace. Buddhism teaches that happiness is not found in external attachments, but in the ability to appreciate and enjoy the present moment. When you invest in hobbies that bring you joy, you cultivate a mindset of self-sufficiency. You no longer rely on others to entertain or validate you because you have discovered that fulfillment comes from within. Another benefit of engaging in hobbies is that they provide a sense of accomplishment. Whether it's finishing a book, mastering a new recipe, or completing a creative project, these small achievements build confidence and self-worth. The more you invest in your passions, the more you strengthen your ability to find joy in your own company. When you learn to love the activities that make you happy, you transform solitude from something to avoid into something to cherish. Instead of seeing alone time as empty, you see it as an opportunity to grow, explore, and nurture your creativity. In this way, Solitude becomes a gift, a chance to reconnect with yourself and find happiness in the simplest of moments. 5. Strengthen your emotional independence. Many people struggle with being alone because they have become emotionally dependent on others for validation, comfort, and happiness. Society often teaches us that we need relationships, social approval, and external connections to feel whole. But Buddhism teaches that true peace and fulfillment come from within, not from external sources. Strengthening your emotional independence means learning to regulate your emotions, finding inner stability, and not relying on others to make you feel complete. Emotional independence does not mean isolating yourself from others or refusing to form meaningful relationships. Instead, it means developing the ability to be content, resilient, and at peace even when you are by yourself. It is about being your own source of comfort and support rather than constantly seeking reassurance from the outside world. One of the first steps to strengthening emotional independence is practicing self-awareness. Pay attention to your emotions and thoughts without reacting impulsively. When you feel lonely, anxious, or sad, take a moment to sit with those feelings instead of trying to escape them through distractions, social media, or other people. Ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? What is at the root of my discomfort? Often, our emotional struggles come from deep-seated fears of rejection, abandonment, or inadequacy. By understanding these fears, you can begin to work through them rather than letting them control you. Another important aspect of emotional independence is self-soothing. When faced with difficult emotions, develop healthy ways to comfort yourself rather than expecting someone else to do it for you. Meditation, deep breathing, journaling, and physical movement like yoga or walking can help regulate your emotions and bring a sense of inner calm. Learn to talk to yourself with kindness and reassurance, just as you would comfort a friend going through a tough time. Buddhism also teaches the importance of non-attachment. Many people suffer because they cling to relationships, expectations, and external circumstances for happiness. But when you rely on things outside yourself, you become vulnerable to suffering when those things change or disappear. True freedom comes when you realize that your happiness is not dependent on anyone else. It is something you cultivate within. Let go of the need for constant validation and instead focus on building self-trust and self-reliance. Developing emotional independence also means embracing solitude as an opportunity for self-discovery. When you spend time alone, you learn who you truly are without the influence of others. What do you enjoy? What are your values? What brings you peace? By answering these questions, you develop a deeper sense of identity and purpose. The more you strengthen your emotional independence, the less you fear being alone. You no longer need constant companionship to feel worthy or fulfilled. Instead, you find confidence in your ability to navigate life's ups and downs on your own. You become resilient, self-sufficient, and deeply connected to your inner self. In the end, emotional independence allows you to experience relationships in a healthier way, not out of need, but out of genuine love and mutual respect. 6. Turn silence into a source of wisdom. In today's world, silence is often seen as something uncomfortable, something to be filled with noise, distractions, or conversations. Many people avoid silence because it forces them to sit with their thoughts, emotions, and inner struggles. However, Buddhism teaches that silence is not empty or meaningless. It is a powerful tool for self-discovery, wisdom, and inner peace. When you learn to embrace silence instead of fearing it, you unlock a deeper understanding of yourself and the world around you. Silence allows you to slow down and listen, not just to the sounds around you, but to the voice within. In a society that constantly demands our attention, moments of silence provide clarity and insight. When you are always surrounded by noise, whether from social media, television, or constant conversation, your mind becomes cluttered, making it difficult to think clearly. But when you step into silence, you create space for reflection, awareness, and deep understanding. One of the most profound Buddhist practices that cultivate wisdom through silence is meditation. In meditation, you sit in stillness and observe your thoughts without judgment. This practice teaches you that you are not your thoughts. You are simply the observer of them. When you sit in silence, you begin to notice patterns in your thinking, emotional reactions, and attachments. Instead of getting caught up in these mental distractions, you learn to detach from them, creating a sense of inner calm and control. Silence also helps you connect with the present moment. Many people spend their days lost in regrets about the past or worries about the future, never fully experiencing the present. But when you embrace silence, you become more attuned to the now, the way your breath moves in and out, the subtle sounds of nature, the rhythm of your heartbeat. This deep presence fosters gratitude and appreciation for life as it is, rather than constantly seeking something else to fill the void. Another powerful lesson silence teaches is the ability to listen deeply, not just to others, but to yourself. When you remove external distractions, you gain the ability to hear your own inner wisdom. Often we seek answers from the outside world, hoping that someone else will tell us what to do or how to feel. But the truth is, the answers we seek are already within us. Silence gives us the space to access this inner knowledge and intuition. In Buddhism, great teachers and monks often retreat into silence for extended periods to deepen their understanding of the self and the universe. This practice is not about avoiding the world, but about developing a clearer, more enlightened perspective. You don't need to live in a monastery to experience the benefits of silence. Simply taking a few moments each day to sit quietly without distractions can bring clarity and peace. Silence also plays a crucial role in strengthening emotional resilience. When you allow yourself to sit with your emotions in silence, you become more comfortable with them. Instead of reacting impulsively to anger, sadness, or anxiety, you learn to observe these feelings and let them pass naturally. This ability to remain still and non-reactive is a sign of deep inner strength. Ultimately, turning silence into a source of wisdom means learning to value stillness as much as action. In the quiet moments, you gain insight into yourself, develop patience, and cultivate a profound sense of peace. Instead of filling every moment with distractions, embrace the space that silence offers. It is within that space that true wisdom, clarity, and understanding arise. 7. Build a life that feels whole on your own. One of the deepest fears people have is the fear of being alone. Society often equates happiness with companionship, relationships, and social validation, making solitude seem like a failure or a sign of emptiness. But in Buddhism, true fulfillment is not found in external attachments. It is cultivated from within. Building a life that feels whole on your own means developing inner peace, purpose, and joy that do not depend on anyone else. It means realizing that you are already complete even when you are alone. Understand that wholeness comes from within. Many people spend their lives searching for something outside themselves to fill an inner void. They chase relationships, achievements, or material possessions, believing that these things will bring lasting happiness. However, Buddhism teaches that everything external is temporary. People change, circumstances shift, and material things lose their value over time. If your happiness depends on things outside your control, you will always live in fear of losing them. True wholeness comes from self-acceptance. It means being at peace with who you are without constantly seeking validation or approval. It means realizing that you are enough, just as you are. When you stop looking outward for fulfillment and turn inward, you begin to cultivate a deep sense of self-worth that is not shaken by life's uncertainties. Create a life that reflects your values. A life that feels whole is one that aligns with your deepest values and aspirations. Instead of living according to society's expectations or seeking approval from others, take the time to define what truly matters to you. What kind of person do you want to be? What brings you joy, meaning, and peace? Buddhism emphasizes mindful living, being intentional about how you spend your time and energy. If you want a fulfilling life, fill it with activities and habits that nourish your soul. Dedicate time to learning, growing, and contributing to something bigger than yourself. Engage in meaningful work, creative expression, or acts of kindness. When you live in alignment with your values, you naturally feel a sense of wholeness, no matter who is or isn't around. Develop deep self-compassion. Many people struggle with self-criticism and feelings of unworthiness, believing they need to be better before they can be happy. But wholeness is not about perfection. It is about embracing yourself fully, flaws and all. Practicing self-compassion means treating yourself with kindness, patience, and understanding, just as you would a dear friend. Instead of judging yourself harshly, recognize that you are on a journey of growth. When you make mistakes, see them as lessons rather than failures. When you experience loneliness, remind yourself that solitude is an opportunity for self-discovery. The more you cultivate love and kindness toward yourself, the less you will seek it from external sources. Find fulfillment in the present moment. One of the biggest obstacles to feeling whole is the constant desire for something different. Many people believe, "I'll be happy when I find the right partner," or "I'll feel complete once I achieve my goals." But Buddhism teaches that the present moment is all we have. If you cannot find peace and contentment now, no future achievement or relationship will give it to you. Learn to appreciate the beauty of life as it is. Take time to notice the small joys. Sunlight filtering through the trees, the warmth of a cup of tea, the feeling of fresh air on your skin. When you stop chasing the idea of someday and start embracing the richness of the present, you realize that wholeness is already within you. Let go of the fear of being alone. One of the most liberating realizations in life is that you do not need anyone else to complete you. While relationships can bring joy and companionship, they should be an addition to your life, not the foundation of your happiness. When you let go of the fear of being alone, you gain the freedom to live authentically. Instead of seeing solitude as a void that needs to be filled, see it as a sacred space for self-exploration, creativity, and inner peace. When you are comfortable with your own company, you develop confidence that no external circumstance can shake. No longer fear solitude because you have built a life that feels whole on its own. Building a life that feels whole on your own is not about rejecting relationships or isolating yourself. It is about developing a deep and lasting sense of inner peace. It is about knowing that your happiness does not depend on anything outside of you. By cultivating self-acceptance, living in alignment with your values, and embracing the present moment, you create a life that feels complete, whether you are alone or with others. In the end, the greatest freedom is realizing that you are already whole. You do not need to search for fulfillment outside yourself because everything you need has been within you all along. Living alone is not about escaping the world. It is about deepening your connection to it. When you learn to be comfortable with yourself, to detach from external expectations, and to embrace the stillness of solitude, you unlock a happiness that is unshakable. As the Buddha said, peace comes from within. Do not seek it without. So there you have it, friends. The path to finding strength and happiness in solitude is a journey of self-discovery and inner peace. Remember, it's about embracing yourself, finding purpose in your own company, and understanding that true contentment comes from within. If you found wisdom in these lessons, let us know in the comments which of these resonates with you the most. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more insights on the path to inner peace. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Namaste.